Alright, it looks like we're back live. Y'all don't know, I'm Pop Linde, and this is sweet gum. So I love the young tender leaves. Oops. Oh, there we go. So this is very, very small. Usually we're looking at these huge trees with the spiky little balls on them. And hey, the young tender leaves are a lovely snack. Think of it more as a aromatic seasoning that you can add to meats, soups, anything like that. Anytime you're dealing with some hard or fatty kind of things or hard to digest, something aromatic. Oh, look what I just found. So there is the seed pod or the fruit ball of the sweet gum. This is a Chinese herb called lulu tong that we use for blood stagnation. It comes from a sweet gum tree. The best ones are green. They still have the seeds in there. And they can be boiled up and used not just for, the Chinese tend to use it more for very painful menstruation, but all of the sweet gum tree can be used for traumatology, sprains, strains, broken bones, internally, externally. The inner bark, the leaves can be mashed up into a poultice. You can break off a few branches, boil it up as a soak for some sort of acute injury. So I'm just walking down the trail to the, in case y'all can't see, I didn't want to like freak anybody out, but like, oh, there's horse trails around here. So this is actually the group campground, and there's a little trail that goes out to a bench on the water. I posted a few pretty pictures. Look at that. Something just jumped over here. What did we see? And if you weren't following along, I've walked a couple miles down trail, off on a little offshoot of this trail actually, and then went off trail for about 2 hours, kicked my butt in quest of a grove of now wild or naturalized guava trees. And although I didn't find the same grove I had had before, I did manage to find a couple of isolated ones, what I think is a sour orange tree, and now kind of, I didn't drop a pin. I know a bunch of you all suggested that, but that's too easy. I kind of like the adventure of wandering about and a little quest to find this more mythical thing, just to follow an arrow. Bah humbug. And besides, like, somebody's got to earn it. Oh, beautiful birds. Some sort of a hawk. And I figured just as I'm wandering back to my car, since clearly I've made it back alive, although a little worse for wear, there's a little bit of blood around. There was definitely some thorns out there. I got sliced up a little bit, but you know, I need to, I'm past due donating blood. So I gave it to nature and return for all the trees I trampled while I was out there. So, see if we can find some interesting plants. As I was walking out, there's definitely some cool plants. When I first walked in, I found some pawpaw. And at this point, I think I'm delirious. It's definitely hot out here today. But I found some pawpaw, which is native really all over the eastern seaboard. I don't know how far west it goes. But we get some nice small ones that grow here in this area. I've not had success potting them up and growing them at the clinic, but I do find them out in nature fairly often. And the leaves are used for cancer, hard, lumpy things. It's mildly aromatic. It's actually got a beautiful, subtle smell to it, kind of floral. There's a unique flower, and I think, oh yeah, I can actually see it. It's up there about 50 yards, so I'm going to babble on incoherently until I find it. Oh, more sweet gum seeds. Lulu tong everywhere. Also fun to throw at little kids. So the flowers are edible. I mean, all of it's edible. It's used for hard, lumpy things, but there's good research on pawpaw for cancer. It's the leaves that are primarily used, although you could use bark and so forth. but the leaves of what I've always used. And the fruit, boy, you got to wrestle every animal in town for it. Oh, that wasn't pawpaw fruit. Oh well, I thought I saw it up here. It's up here somewhere. And so it is considered a delicacy for the animals as well as for the humans when we're lucky enough to find it. But the animals, rightly so, usually beat us to it. Nobody there. There's somewhere up here on this left side. But if you ever get the chance, it's a sad statement, although I've paddled the Little Manatee River a number of times. Actually, probably over the last 30 years, I've enjoyed this river. I never, that I can remember at least until around Christmas, I had not explored the park itself. And it's actually probably very underutilized. The group campground is lovely. That's where I was just at. And they have small, just private campgrounds, which are definitely not roughing it. They're close to bathrooms. They have plug-ins and water and all the usual amenities. But for somebody who doesn't want to rough it too bad, to be able to just back your car up and throw up a tent, it's actually kind of nice. All right, I know there was some pawpaw up here somewhere. Hopefully I'm on the same trail. Yeah, this is the right general area. So if you're lucky enough to get some pawpaw fruit, so this is a weird thing. These are baby crickets, and these are the lubbers that are, unfortunately, I don't know whether they're native or not, but they will devour plants quite vigorously. They'll destroy your garden and just about anything else. They show up in your yard, and there isn't a good way to get rid of them. Most of us will hand eradicate them, and it looks like they're just coming out. 'Tis the season. Oh, this is one, I think I talked about this on the way in, but I'll say it again in case anybody's just catching it. So this is yucca, and so different from yucca. I don't know which is which, but there is the edible tuber that is Y-U-C-A, and then that spiky bayonet looking thing is Y-U-C-C-A, which is its actual genus. And it's both food and medicine, edible flowers. This is gelsemium, yellow jessamine, pretty yellow flower, and also a deadly poison. And so don't eat that. But it is a low-dose botanical that's very effective for extreme pain. You wouldn't want to use it unless necessary. Safe topically, which is really the only way I use it. But if you know what you're doing, you can use it internally. And I would say making sure you're monitoring liver enzymes and kidney functions and all that fun stuff. Nobody who's anything other than a very strong constitution and highly diluted drop dosing. It is also a homeopathic remedy. So you'll see gelsemium in most of your pain-related homeopathics. And homeopathics in their own right are kind of like the super-duper low-dose botanicals. All kinds of little things rustling around out there, but I don't see any critters. And the downside is the gelsemium, compared frequently to curare, it grows in the same place of what I like to call fart vine, but also known as stink vine. Totally don't remember the Latin name for it. They frequently grow in the same place, and so somebody who's trying to harvest one could unfortunately harvest the other. And so there's a beautiful thistle. It's about to bloom. This is, think, milk thistle. Same genus, different species, and phenomenal liver medicine, good food, edible taproot on it. And 'tis the season. So they're just all over this trail here, which is amazing. And so it's easy to get the stink vine and the gelsemium confused. The biggest difference, the stink. So that very strong sulfur smell. will identify your stink vine. And so if you see this opposite vine and you're planning on eating it, if it doesn't have a smell or has a yellow flower, you're about to poison yourself. Ooh, so this is, I think I showed a picture of St. John's wort earlier. This is a different species. And so we have a ton of different species of St. John's wort growing here in Florida. Unfortunately, they're not the herb of commerce. And although I have read that it is used as an antiviral more than the nerve issues that we normally use the herb of commerce of St. John's wort. This one works as an antiviral, but doesn't have that same effect. There's my pawpaw. Doesn't have the same nervine, nerve healing, soothing properties of the herb of commerce. So has value, more medicine than food. Oh, look at this beautiful pawpaw. So very distinct flower. Ooh. And they're always, well, clearly they're not all hanging down, but usually they have this hanging down kind of orientation with, you can see the 3 petals in there, and so that's where the fruit will form. And it does tend to grow in the open like this. Let's see what else is interesting over here. There's some more of the yucca, some grapevine. I saw a small blackroot over there, which is, I don't know, I always think it kind of a exciting, cool thing. There is some edible cactus, so that'll get an edible fruit on there that's ripe when it's red. Well, that white sand makes me think that there is, there's a gopher turtle hole. It looks pretty active, but I don't see a little gopher turtle friend. I always think it's a treat when I find a gopher turtle in the wild like that. And notice his hole is close to where there's another couple of months there'll be some yummy pawpaw fruit. So he dug his hole where he's got a good food supply and a treat that will show up sometime soon. And if there's some thorns on here, which there are, this is hog plum. It's a stone fruit that is very, very sour, but it is an edible. I think of it as more medicine than food. It's for phlegm conditions. And I guess I'm not going to find any of that. I was hoping to spot a little patch of the blackroot. Just one lone plant, actually. That is the blackroot, and it's got a whitish, silvery underside there, which helps to identify it. And it has a large bulb on the base of it, like huge, where you need a tool to dig it up. And since that is a very lone one, I don't want to dig it up to demo it. It's hard as a rock, and it gets the coolest. There's some more here. It gets this really cool. It doesn't have the flower, but it's got a flower pot, and I'm hoping to spot one here. It's a little early in the season. But it kind of looks like a hard rattlesnake rattle as the flower, and it is used for spiritual work. I have not worked with it for the spiritual work, but I've heard all kinds of interesting uses. The root's also used as depends who you read, but there's a mild toxicity for a really deep-seated cough, dry cough, and it can be used to kind of like get that I think the dry bronchitis-y kind of thing that you would use something like usnea for, you could use the black root for. And there's that yucca. And I think I said it earlier, the yucca is such pretty flowers. I just always think it's a treat when I find the pawpaw flowers like that. Certainly a treat when you find the fruit. Actually super rare. Ooh, poop. I don't know whose poop that is. That's either, I'm going to say, since we're not in right near the river right now, probably a raccoon. That was a big bohunking raccoon if it was. I don't see anything interesting out that way. So the yucca, very high in saponins, and so it's used for damp arthritis pain, boggy arthritis pain. The roots carry a lot of saponins, so you can actually get sudsiness. I always think of it as here's another little patch of it. If you think you've exposed to poison ivy or something that's got oils on it that you want to get off, you can dig up the big taproot. There's a big taproot on those, and get it sudsy, and it will get those oils off your skin. That's not the, well, that's a different one. I thought that was the toad flax, but it's not. Ah, all right. Well, I'm almost back to my car. So I hope you all excuse me. That was just rude. Yeah, the nopales. So if you have the, oh, sorry, I keep, found an artifact that might be, oh, cool. And I'm probably, Josh, I'm going to probably be at Bula. Oh, I don't know. I might go home first and clean up. Who knows? I may just go there because I need a cold drink. So, I don't know what time it is, but I'll probably be there in 2 hours. I got a little bit of work I need to do. And bring it by, show it off. I won't say I'm an expert artifacty dude, but I'm okay at it. So I'd love to see it. I always forget that yes, nopales. I don't know if I ever paid that. Ooh, what's that? I know I've looked that up before, but it's super pretty. It's a very, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the camera, pretty light blue. Sometimes, like, screw the medicinal benefits. I just like to see the pretty plants and the flowers. There's more of the thistle. This is fleabane. And so a lot of our fleabanes, just in the last month, they're starting to bloom. They very, like, perfect daisy-like flowers, and they are the bane of fleas. Oh, there's a really nice looking patch of the cactus, and you can kind of, it's a poor example, but there's one of the fruits. I probably wouldn't eat that. That's kind of ate up literally. Probably there's probably another gopher turtle hiding around here somewhere that's been nibbling on there. But this fleabane, I don't use it internally. It was best known for something you would either stuff a mattress with, or put under your bed, or sweep through your house to clean the critters out. And oh, is that what I think it is? This is a ground cherry. Yeah, it sure is. So the turtles will definitely enjoy this. So we've got this growing at the school. Sorry, choking on the last plant I ate. But this will form. This is a nightshade, and it will form an edible fruit. And really, it's Florida native and grows really well around here. And I understand it's used for medicine. I just like snacking on it. And it's an oddball. And I found this with a lot of our plants that we talk about as they're edible and they're wild foods and all that good stuff. And without a doubt, like, super important that we know those things. But Oh, yes, Ergenon. Oh, there's another pawpaw. Keep hoping there's going to be a perfectly ripe fruit. I know there won't be, but guy can dream. So, and there's some flowers just about ready to pop. So, super beautiful. Nope, no fruit though. But the ground cherry is one where I'm like, every time I find one and it's ripe, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And I eat the first one and I love it. And I get to the second one and I still like it. I might eat the third, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't want any more of that. And so it's definitely one of those things that a little bit is nice. There's more beautiful. They're just everywhere out here today. So, you know, if you're taking advantage of this beautiful weather we've got, this is like the reason we live in Florida, and you see those beautiful flowers of the pawpaw, make sure you stop, give them a smell. They absolutely, you have to stick your nose all up in it to get the proper smell. And you can eat the petals of it. Certainly if there's only one, don't mess with it. But as long as you see a bunch like there are here, you can eat the petals. And it's funny, they smell better than they taste. But without a doubt, I've eaten my share of those when I did the river trip around this time last year on the Swanee River and the Okefenokee Swamp. I think it was on the third or fourth day I started to see tons of it, and definitely chowed down on some of those raw and cooked. All right. Ooh, there's a big critter in there somewhere. So, looks like I'm up my road. Ooh, what's that? Oh, that's orange tape that doesn't belong there. Never mind. So, thanks all for playing, and see you next time. Stop by and say hi at Bula. I'll probably be there for a little while until it gets chilly, because I don't like the cold, and I probably smell bad from all this hiking in the bushes right now. So, take care. Come by for class. Tomorrow we've got meditation, 8 a.m. at the school, and we'll talk to everybody soon. How do I turn this thing off?